Hey Thrifty Beauty viewers, and it's me again, and we are here today not to really do a review, but to revisit a review that we have done before. So we are going to revisit the Revenge is Infinite palette by NYX, and if you remember the boxing, I'm going to just reiterate that to you guys here. Okay, so there was some minor concerns about the palette in general, and most of those concerns revolved around the fact that the shadows were not as pigmented, as well as the cover inside the box itself allowed for the powders to get inside of the lip glosses, and that includes the 3 blushes and the 10 eyeshadows that are in the kit. I returned the kit a couple months ago because the kit actually wasn't as pigmented as I would like, and I used the return to actually put toward my purchase of my Urban Decay Electrics palette, which I eventually had to return because I kept having an allergic reaction to. So all those things aside, I was at Ulta the other day, and I had went specifically to see if I could find a lip butter lipstick that would match my vanilla cream pie lip butter, and I didn't find one that matched, but I did find one I liked, and it is in the color Candy Buttons. So I got that, and I'm actually wearing the 2 of these together today with, and I did use the NYX palette for my eyeshadow. Now I'm going to show you a dramatic difference. This was with, and now I didn't use a high-end because I wanted to stay thrifty with you guys on this. So let me adjust my camera here. Okay. So I didn't use a high-end here. I actually used a face primer. I don't like this as a face primer. I love it as an eyeshadow primer. So I decided I was going to use it. I'm sorry, my hair's falling down. I have it half clipped. It's kind of hot. Sorry. So I use this as an eyeshadow primer instead. It is the Rimmel Fix Imperfect Pro Primer, and this is just a sample bottle I got from a sample it machine. If you want to learn more about that, you can check through my reviews. I did review a sample it machine. But this in general has worked amazing. I have no primer on this eye and full primer on this eye, and you can definitely tell a pigment difference. Let's see if I can get the shadowing off. So although this one has shadow, obviously, it's not near as pigmented as this side. Okay, so that is because I used a primer, and I'm going to demonstrate that primer power up to you right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a small bead of this primer, and on this side of my skin only, I'm just going to rub it in and apply it, not to this side, because I want to show you guys a big difference. And I am going to also mention I used a brush. Everyone was saying they don't really show up at all without a brush, and they do. You just can't use them the standard way. So I'm going to go ahead and open her up, and I'm going to give you the lightest color, Reckoning. Using the wrong brush, oopsie. And I'm going to do this with a brush. So Reckoning, I'm just going to powder a bit, which you can already see it on my skin. It's a light color anyways. And then I'm going to put a little bit over here on the non-prime side, so just a bit, so that you can see a difference. It's not a intensely, I missed the primer part. Okay. It's not an intense color as is. It is actually, and they do go on better with your fingers. I'm just going to be completely honest, but I did the brush for the purpose of showing you guys that they can and will work. So now I'm going to pick up Truth, and I'm going to go ahead and show you these shadows while I do this. This is Reckoning, and this is Truth. So these colors are extremely bright colors anyways. These are just highlight colors, which I have a little bit of Reckoning at the top. I use the Victoria Grayson look and use the light silver, which is Charade. They don't say Charade, they say light silver, dark silver. The dark silver is Infinity, sorry. Whew. Infamy is the lip gloss next to it. And then I use Duplicity, which is the plum purple shade. So this is Truth, and this is on the primer right here, just 2 small layers, and this is without the primer, and I'll be fair and give it 2 small layers. So this swatch is with it, without it, with it, without it. You almost don't see Reckoning without it. So the next color is Intrigue, and Intrigue with primer, without. I'm only going to do 1 swatch because they came out really well. And then I'm going to do Power. If you have this palette, you can go along with me. Now, like I said, I took mine back, but then I went back for the lips, and they had them marked down for $6.50, and they were originally $24.99, so that's 75% off, which is amazing. Not to mention, I figured out how to work all the problems out of this palette, so I'm pretty impressed with it this way. So I'm just going to continue swatching, and this is Destiny Revelations. Two coats each because they are lighter colors. Vendetta. Charade. And when you have the primer as well, you don't have as much fallout, so that eliminates a lot of that. And this one is Duplicity, and I'm going to go ahead and show you there is a ton of fallout on the powder. Doing that to blow that off would typically blow that off into the gloss, but I've solved that problem too. So I just want to show you the difference. This is your non-prime, yeah, okay, sorry. This is the non-prime side. This is your prime side. All these colors were put on with a brush. They weren't finger swatched on. And I'm going to actually pick up my camera here to bring you into a better look. So as you're seeing that the colors are obviously picking up better on the side with a primer. I tested it first with my Urban Decay Primer Potion, and it just wasn't as well as the Rimmel Fix and Perfect done on keeping it in place. And I've actually had this on for a couple hours because I had to charge my camera when I was ready to shoot. Now, so that really did help with the pigmentation. With the blush, just a regular primer worked. This color almost never showed up on me anyways. It's almost my flesh tone color. I'm very pale. It's very pale. It doesn't work out. It looks like a finishing powder. And then, this was realistically the only blush. So, to fix the issue with getting makeup into my lip glosses, which as you can see, has not happened to me, even though I've obviously put some use to these shadows already. You can see the indentions. I'm going to demonstrate, before I show you how I've done this, how these will not get into your lip glosses. I'm going to pick up a Real Techniques brush, and I may mix some of this, but I'm going to throw it toward the gloss on purpose. I'm even going to put it on top of the gloss. So, those blushes don't show up well anyway, but they would if the powder. Now, as you can see, I did get powder on the case and on the glosses, but you blow that off, or you take a tissue and you wipe the gloss area. You're completely clean of any, oh, I got a little piece of tissue stuck on the plastic. Anyway, cut it off. They're completely cleared now of any of that. And again, my glosses have not been affected, and that is because I started out, I took a Sharpie, and I happened to have used the red Sharpie when I did this, and I closed my container the way it comes, and you'll probably be able to pick these up. So let me see if I can get in closer. You can see my little stitch marks here. and I went along and I just drew right in the in-between little stitch marks. And closer toward the edges of the shadows and blush, not closer toward the edges of the lip glosses, so you have more of a lip to protect your lip glosses. Then I removed this plastic piece completely, like so. And where I had cut, I cut it, and I used an X-Acto knife on a surface. See if I can find it. Yes, I used this X-Acto knife. You could use scissors if you don't have one, just cut very carefully. And I cut the lip and up to the top, but not the top lip. This is where your mirror area is. This is going to stay in one singular piece. And then you will replace that into your box, making sure to tightly bend again the proper way it was bent before so that it lays tightly against. And now, when you open your box and you are going to use your eyeshadows, you can pop up the center without ever popping up the sides that are covering your lip glosses, therefore eliminating the need to worry even a little about getting the eyeshadows inside of here. As long as you clean up when you're done with your eyeshadows, blow it off, pardon me, blow it off, or you can take a brush and just kind of dust in between after you've blown it off, or you can even take a tissue and lightly wipe the areas that don't have your powders in it after you've used it, and you do that and you will end up with a very nice product still. So I keep the plastic. This is what you can do with it. This is how it will save it. And that's just basically the idea on how to utilize the NYX Revenge's Infinite palette without actually wasting it. Be sure to stay tuned to our next review, which will be reviewing the Milani Gel to Powder eyeshadows, and let you know what I think about these. Thanks, guys.